Playing as a Deadeye has many advantages and excels at ranged DPS, but you also need to be aware of the Deadeye's weaknesses. In this guide, we will go over all the strengths and weaknesses, along with showing you a build that dishes out insane single target damage, which includes 84% crit rate and 240% critical damage at all times. With this build, you can literally delete your enemies in a couple seconds, but the trade-off is you can easily be locked down and deleted yourself, along with the enemy having projectile denial being your nemesis. Deadeye is a terrific build for new or intermediate players. Absolutely massive single target damage, high crit rate, high swiftness, and fury uptime, and has the highest range in the game. Now on the flip side, you are almost useless if the enemy team has multiple projectile builds. The goal of Deadeye in PvP is to come out of stealth and delete your enemy in a few seconds, go back into stealth, rinse and repeat. Also, positioning and map awareness are critical to your success. Now for new players, I'm going to go over a couple basics that you need to know in order to unlock the Deadeye's full potential, then we'll jump into the build itself. So let's get into it. As a new Deadeye player, let's go over some of the basics that you must understand. So some of these down here can be confusing sometimes, but as you go into and you want to start combat, the first thing you want to do is put a Deadeye's mark on your target. There are many reasons for that. You can see this orange orb above your target. That's an easy indicator in saying visually that that is my target, I need to stay on this target. It also increases your crit chance to 84%, your critical damage to 240%, and it gives you all these boons. It also dazes your target, which means they have to cycle through their abilities again. And if you are hitting your target that is marked with abilities from your weapons, you are generating malice. Right over here, you see these circles down here that are now on fire. That means when you go into stealth mode, your one ability on your weapon will become a malice ability. So let's show you how that works. Here is a basic rotation. Mark your target, use ability number 2 3 times, go stealth, boom, use your malice, and you'll see you got a massive hit there of over 7,000. Sometimes it hits for 8,000, sometimes it hits for 9,000. It all depends on the enemy and their armor and whatnot. So there's a lot that factors into it, but it's a heavy, heavy hit. All right, let's get into the weapons, utilities, and the build itself. So the rifle is a mandatory in this build. You must use the rifle because that Deadeye's mark with the rifle is nasty. So on the back bar, what I like to use is actually the dagger and the pistol. Now, this is totally preference. You can put anything you want back here because for the most part, you are going to be using your rifle, I would say probably 85 to 90% of the time. So just keep that in mind. So it's a personal preference what you want to use back here. All right, let's talk our utility skills and why we're using these particular utility skills. So in the heal slot, I prefer hide and shadows. Now in hide and shadows, you get a huge heal, you get stealth, and you cure conditions, but a lot of people actually prefer withdraw. So this is actually a preference thing. You could also even go with malicious restoration, but I think for the majority of people, they'll go with hide and shadows or withdraw. There's a couple of differences here. Withdraw, you roll back in cure conditions. In hide and shadows, you go into stealth in cure conditions. It's just a preference thing. For me personally, I like hide and shadows. All right, moving on to the next utility skill. I consider this one the flex spot. You can put in whatever you want here. I just personally prefer Shadow Gust. I can't tell you how many times Shadow Gust has actually saved my life because it's actually quick. It's on a half-second ability timer where you can actually push your enemy away and go into stealth. So if they are your marked target, you launch them 450 meters away. But again, this is a flex skill. You can put whatever you want in there. A lot of people like to use Mercy. Shadow Refuge is another good one. There's a bunch here, so feel free to use whatever you want in this particular slot. All right, moving on, we have Shadow Step. This is critical to the build. I think this is critical to any Deadeye build. This helps you get around the map more often. It creates confusion when they're trying to target you. So it gives you a bunch of abilities to get out of danger quickly, along with breaking stun. So this is actually critical to the build. Make sure you have this there. And Binding Shadow, some people might not understand what this does, but let's go over this real quick. So Binding Shadow, if they are your marked target and you hit Binding Shadow, what will happen is you will knock them down for 3 seconds. You will make them vulnerable, increasing the incoming damage to them by 15%. So you can unload on your target for 3 seconds. They can't do anything about it. So if you go through that basic rotation that we just went through, they are dead. And last but not least, we have Shadow Meld. Again, going with the theme here, more stealth equals better survivability. All right, in the equip slots, we have the Marauder Amulet, we have the Rune of Scholar, and for the rifle, we have Sigil of Opportunity, Sigil of Energy, and on the back bar, we have Sigil of Escape and Sigil of Cleansing. Taking a look at the Deadeye profession, now in the first column, we have One in the Chamber. Every time you use a cantrip utility skill, you will gain a random steal skill. In the second column, Silent Scope. Every time you dodge, you go invisible. And in the third column, we have Fire for Effect. Every time you use your random steal skill, you gain 20% critical chance and 300 ferocity, along with 240 power. Moving on to Trickery now. This is really your steal profession here. In the first column, Thrill of the Crime. When you steal, you gain Fury, Swiftness, and Might, along with giving this to all nearby allies within a 360 meter radius. Really beneficial to the team. Bountiful Theft. Stealing grants you and all nearby allies Vigor. You rip those boons from your target and grant them to nearby allies. Again, helping out the team. So, Sleight of Hand. Every single time you steal, it also dazes your target. Critical Strikes is what takes your damage and pushes it straight through the roof. So in the first column, we have Twin Fangs. This is increasing your critical damage and your critical chance increase both by 7%. Practice Tolerance is actually gaining ferocity based on a percentage of your precision by 15%. And last but not least, No Quarter. This is really important here. So landing a critical hit while under the effects of Fury, which you will have up 100% of the time, increases the duration. Now, when you have that up, you are gaining an increase in critical chance by 20%. You are also gaining 300 ferocity. There you have it, guys. That is the Deadeye build for PvP. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate each and every one of you. I truly do. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If this is your type of content that you really enjoy, do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button, like and comment on the video. Stick around. I got some gameplay for you. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.